Raph, lots to talk about. I just got a note here from our friend Jimmy. There's a new poll out that shows Bernard Drinville, who was, of course, running for leadership of the CAQ. It's going from bad to worse, at least in terms of the polls right now.
In terms of the polls, so it's a poll that was conducted among CAQ members about their perception of the leaders, of the candidates to succeed François Legault. And so far, what we see is there's Christine Fréchette is way ahead of Bernard Drinville in the minds of those members, you know. So they are about 15,000 members right now within the CQ, active members. This number will eventually grow, of course, because those two candidates are selling membership cards, but 15,000 members who will be voting for the new leader of the CQ and, of course, the Premier of Quebec. So it's quite unusual. You know, we haven't seen this since Lucien Bouchard left politics at the beginning of the millennial, so 25 years ago. And so less than 1% of the population of the province will be voting for our new Premier. And so far, it seems like those members prefer way more Christine Fréchette than Bernard Drinville. So it's 64% of favorable opinion in favor of Christine Fréchette, whereas only 19% see Bernard Drinville as the most fit to succeed François Legault as leader of their party.
But he's not the kind of guy either that just can, and I asked him this question, we had him on the air, he's not going to walk away. I know some columnists suggest perhaps he should. He's going to go through the two debates. I believe
he will remain until the very end, yes.
And does he strike you through those two debates? I mean, he's a pretty good debater too, right? We've seen him before.
He's a good debater, and he's a campaigner. So he knows that, yes, you might be in advance with the support you get from your colleagues at the National Assembly, so ministers and MNAs within your party, but in the end, it's 15,000 members that will be casting their ballot to vote for their new leader. So he's going with a very grassroots campaign. That's how we could maybe describe it. So he's really on the phone. What I hear from my sources is that Drinville is very active on the phone, calling every president of every CAQ association across the province. So he's really close to people at the lower levels of the party, trying to get support from them. So that's something that could make a difference on the long term, because we're still at the very beginning of that leadership race. You know, we're going to have two debates in March, and the vote will be happening on April 12th. So I'm not convinced that the numbers we see right now are going to be the same numbers we see at the end.
Do you see the story today that Drinville is also now calling on the CAQ to limit leadership votes to Canadian citizens? What do you make of that?
Well, it comes from some information from Samuel Poulin, so the junior minister to the economy, who's supporting Drinville, who said that he fears that there might be a lot of people who are not Canadian citizens who would be taking their membership card just to vote for Christine Fréchette, because as we know, this week Christine Fréchette flip-flopped on the PEQ program, on the PEC program, the Programme de l'Expérience Québécoise, and she said she would reinstate the program to facilitate people getting their permanent residency in Quebec. So, and as we know, this is hurting a lot our businesses. They need foreign workers at the moment. So I feel like so far what the Drinville team is, it's a bit of fear-mongering, because I'm not sure that there are a big flooding of new members within the CEQ at the moment. That's at least what the party is saying. But I would agree that, you know, even if our electoral law here in this province and in this country don't allow non-citizens to vote for the elected officials, it would be just normal to have only Canadian citizens allowed to vote, especially considering that the leader of that party will become the same day our new premier.
So that's at the beginning of the campaign. What's at the end of the campaign right now is the non-existent campaign in the provincial Liberals, because tomorrow officially, or I guess Friday or Monday officially, we will have Charles Milliard as the new leader.
Absolutely.
Despite what Mario Roy says about, I still want to run and I should be allowed to run. What's going on with that?
Well, he's been disqualified because he still had debts from the previous leadership race just 8 months ago. So that automatically disqualified him.
But he was on the air here with Elias the other day saying, no, I'm confident I'm going to come up with the money and I want to run. And
well, it's too late for him because he was officially disqualified by the party. That means there's only one candidate on the ranks, on the starting blocks. And the deadline for candidates to submit submit their dossier at the Quebec Liberal Party is tomorrow at 5 p.m. So officially, we can declare that Charles Millard is, or in 24 hours from now, will be officially confirmed as the new leader of the Liberals. But of course, we don't hear much about it because Legault's resignation shifted completely the focus away from the Liberal leadership, and instead people and the media particularly are looking at what's happening on the CAQ side. But I mean, it wasn't a big challenge for Millard this time around to get elected as leader, but there are some major challenges ahead of him in the coming months. The first one, and that's interesting, the Léger poll just last week showed that 64% of Quebecers have absolutely no idea of who he is. So 2/3 of Quebecers cannot even identify him. So he's going to have to really be active on the ground, shaking hands, but also in the media to get people to know him. It's a personal issue, but it's also a reputation issue for his party because he's coming, as we know, with all the scandals that happened in the past few months. So rebuilding the party's reputation in terms of ethics, but also reconnecting with voters across the province, because at this point, if you look at the polls, the Liberals are polling around 15-16% among Francophone voters. So if you want to make gains outside of the Greater Montreal area in order to form a government in the next election, you need desperately to reconnect with those people.
I wonder... now with the whole Pablo Rodriguez situation, yesterday we had the judge come out and say, I don't know if it's real, I don't know if it's not real. Does this take a little bit away from what's going on with Charles Millard?
Not really, because the UPAC, the anti-corruption unit, is still looking into it. They could eventually decide to launch a formal investigation. So it's still, and there are legal proceedings right now in the Superior Court, so opposing Marwa Rizki to Geneviève Hines. The whole crisis was triggered by when Rizki fired Geneviève Hines, who was her chief of staff when she was parliamentary leader of the Liberals. So these proceedings are going on at the moment. So it's going to come back and haunt.
What if they find out they were faked? Like they weren't real?
You know what? I doubt about that. You know, we can say a lot of things about the Bureau d'enquête québécois and Le Journal de Montréal, but I have worked personally with some of those people who published that story, and I'm pretty confident that what they publish was based on solid ground.
We shall find out. Last thing I want to ask, we haven't talked about SACLIC in a while, but yesterday apparently Carl Melançon, he wanted to let us know a lot of things going on in there that we should be aware of now before they actually issue the report on Monday, right?
So the report is expected on Monday, very highly expected report, of course. And Carl Melançon unveiled some of the details that should be included in the Gallant Commission's report. So one of them is that the SAAQ has falsified information, has truncated information to embellish the situation. So they yes, surprise. Are you surprised?
Very.
Yeah, hold on to your chair.
Wow.
But I mean, no surprise there. But Melançon is always presenting himself as just a victim. You know, it's a conspiracy against him to kill his reputation. Bless you, Aaron.
Sure.
We lost Aaron for a second. But Melançon is constantly playing the game of, I'm just a victim here. They're killing my reputation, and they identify me as the wrong target.
They do the right thing by doing this before the report. It's like he's playing defense before he really needs to, but did he have a choice?
There should be a non-disclosure agreement, in my point of view, because yes, you have the right to get some information about the fact that you will be mentioned in the report, so you can prepare your defense. Because it's also it's not criminal accusations in these public inquiries. So it's a good thing that they inform people that they might be blamed for something. Maybe not give them all of the details of what could be included in the final report, and at the same time make sure that they don't disclose that information before the judge can justify his report.
You know, again, they let Geneviève Guilbeault, for example, know that she would be in this report.
Mm-hmm.
This goes back a while, and Bonnardel as well. You expecting much? I mean, we don't know what's going to come from this, but what do you think? If you had to take a guess, is there going to be a lot of malfeasance having been involved here?
Guilbeault is going to be more blamed than Bonnardel from what we've heard so far. Then again, it's just information that's being leaked in several media, so we don't have all the details right now. Of course, we're going to be looking into the detailed report on Monday. But to me, one of the main reasons why Geneviève Guilbeault chose not to run to succeed François Legault is because of that. Because she knew it was going to kill the rest of her political career. So I'm expecting something probably quite big about Geneviève Guilbeault. She was there when the whole scandal came out publicly. And I mean, those two ministers had one job. It was to ask questions and make sure, and their staff as well, to make sure that the information that they got was the right one. And it seems like they didn't really care about it.
She's been laying pretty low, right, for the last few weeks as well. I haven't heard anything about Geneviève Guilbeault.
Well, she's on the way out, and I mean, if you follow her on social media, it seems like she doesn't really give a damn anymore.
Good to know.
I'm Dylan Playfair.
And I'm Tyler Smith.
We're putting loneliness in the penalty box by talking to some of our favorite athletes about the importance of friendship.
This is Bromance.
Bromance is brought to you by Charm Diamond Centers, proudly Canadian-owned and operated. Charm has been part of your love stories and bromances for over 50 years. And you can find Bromance on the iHeartRadio network or wherever you get your podcasts.